Hello, my name is Paul Miners. Welcome to another one of my Pipedrive training videos. In this video, I'm going to give you a getting started guide on how to begin using Pipedrive. This video is really intended for anyone that is still new to Pipedrive and not sure where to start in terms of customizing your account or how to use this tool on a daily basis. So I'm going to be covering some of that in this video, and I'm also going to give you an overview of the different tools and features available in Pipedrive so that you understand what this tool can do. But if you would like to go into any of these features or topics in more detail, then click the link above to look at my Pipedrive training playlist on YouTube. I have loads of videos covering how to get the most out of Pipedrive. If you have any questions at the end of this video, please leave me a comment below. And if you would like one-on-one help with setting up your Pipedrive account, automating your sales process, and training your team on how to use this tool to its best ability and close more deals, then click the link in the description below to learn more about my Pipedrive consulting options. Now, to begin this video, let me explain what Pipedrive is so you can decide if it's the right tool for you, and I'll explain how it's a little bit different to other sales CRMs on the market like Salesforce, Monday, and HubSpot. So first and foremost, Pipedrive is what I would call a sales CRM. It's a tool that you can use to track the different sales opportunities, or what we call deals, through the various stages of a sales process. And on that deal, you can store everything related to the sale. You can put your notes, you can create activities to remind you when to follow up, and you can see your email communication with the people you're selling to. When you use Pipedrive correctly, I think it can help you to close more deals and generate more revenue for your business because you are following up in a more efficient and timely manner, and you're not letting good sales opportunities get missed or fall through the cracks. I've been using Pipedrive since 2015. When I started using it, I was working in mortgages, and then I became a Pipedrive consultant and took my business full time, and I've been using it to run my consulting business ever since. We actually don't consult on any other CRM because we use Pipedrive every single day. It's what we know really well, and quite honestly, we think it's the best. Pipedrive is what I would call my source of truth. It's where I, of course, manage all my sales opportunities, but it's also my master contact list. So every client I've ever worked with, but also just other professional contacts that I'm in touch with, I put all of those people in Pipedrive so I can manage all of my important relationships in one place. In terms of how Pipedrive is different to other CRMs on the market, of course, I'm a little bit biased, but I think Pipedrive is simple and easy to use, and a lot of the clients we work with agree. I also think it's quite a lot more affordable than a lot of other CRMs. And check out this video I'll link above to look at my video on pricing and the different pricing packages and add-ons for Pipedrive. Pipedrive was originally designed by salespeople who were frustrated with the CRMs on the market, and they designed Pipedrive for salespeople with the emphasis on making it easy to use. Because if salespeople like and enjoy using the CRM, they're more likely to keep it up to date, and the tool is more useful. But that's enough talking for now. Let's get into it, and let's have a look at how to get started with Pipedrive. So here I am logged into my demo account of Pipedrive, and at the moment I'm on the main deals page. Here's the sidebar, here's the navigation here. I'm just on the deals screen at the moment, and I'm looking at all of the different deals or sales opportunities, and I can see where they are at in my sales process. I'm going to come back to that. Just to explain the navigation options, on the left here at the top, we have the leads inbox. This is where I can upload, for example, a spreadsheet of prospects or leads that I want to cold call or reach out to. You know, I haven't yet qualified these people yet, and I need to qualify them before I convert them into deals. I could also use some of Pipedrive's lead booster features here, like live chat, chatbot, and web forms, and I can feed leads from my website directly into my Pipedrive account. So that's the lead inbox. We also have, like I showed you before, the deal pipeline. I can see the qualified sales opportunities and where they're at in my sales process. And I can set up multiple pipelines for different types of revenue or different sales journeys for my business. Pipedrive also has a projects add-on. This is where I could create projects to manage what we need to do after we win a deal. So for actually, delivering our product or service, I can create and manage projects in here. I can also create and send marketing campaigns. So instead of having to connect third-party tools like MailChimp or ActiveCampaign, I could actually do my marketing from here. We have the inbox or mail inbox where I can see my email, my connected Google or my Microsoft account, and I can see email that's coming in and syncing with Pipedrive. We have the activities list. This is where I can see what activities I have due today for the deals and leads that I need to follow up on. We have an area for contacts. This could be either people or organizations that I'm selling to. This is where I can see everyone in my database and access important contact information. On the Insights tab, I can view dashboards, I can create reports to report on how my sales team are performing, I can understand our conversion rates and why we're winning or losing deals. In the Products tab, I can set up my products for the various products or services that we offer, which I can then attach to my deals. And then we have this Marketplace tab where I can connect other third-party software to my Pipedrive account, and a couple more options here in the More Options menu. Next, I'm going to explain how information is organized in Pipedrive. And this is where maybe Pipedrive is a little bit different to other CRMs you've possibly used in the past. So on the deals page here, we can see the different deals, or again, think of them as sales opportunities that we're working on. Now, if I open one of these deals, we're on the deal page here, and on the left, I can see the contact person and the organization that this deal is linked to. Now, some CRMs work a little bit differently, where you have a contact person and the contact person themselves is the lead or is the sales opportunity. And so you simply create a contact and just specify that it's a lead. With Pipedrive, it's different. You create a lead, or a deal in this case, and you link that deal to a person and to an organization. And it's important to understand how contacts and organizations and deals are linked together, because it creates a bit of a hierarchy. For example, I have Apple here. So Apple is an organization that we are selling to, or in this case, I've labeled them as a customer. And down here on my sidebar, I can see the different people or employees that work at Apple. So I can go here to Tim Cook, and now I'm on the contact page for Tim Cook. I can see the name up here. I can see all of Tim's contact information and details. And if I scroll down, I can see that Tim is linked to the Apple organization. And any notes I put on here, activities I log like these ones, or emails that I send to Tim Cook, anything I do on this contact will actually get summarized at the organization level. So if I go back to the organization here, you can see this timeline where I can see activities. Some of them here are linked to Tim Cook. Some are linked here, one to Johnny Ive, a couple more to Johnny. And if I scroll down, I can see some notes here linked with, this Tim Cook deal. So at the organization level, I can see all of the notes, emails, and activities that are associated with any of those contacts. And because everything is linked, I get this nice big sort of 10,000-foot view of all of our activity and interactions with the company here on the organization level. And at the top here, I can see the different deals that we have linked with Apple. So I could actually have multiple deals or sales opportunities running simultaneously for an organization. So if I go to this Tim Cook Apple deal, here again, I can see the deal is linked to Tim and the Apple organization. And so again, any notes, any activities, any emails I put here on this deal will all show up both on the Tim Cook contact and the Apple organization. And if I go back to Apple, now if I go to the Johnny Ive deal, you can see this deal is still linked with Apple, but it's linked to the Johnny Ive contact. So these notes and activities will all show up on the Johnny Ive contact and on the Apple organization. It's important to wrap your head around this early on, because I see a lot of people making mistakes, especially when it comes to importing contacts to Pipedrive. They import a list of contacts, but they haven't actually created a deal through that import process. And so when they look at their deal pipeline, they go, hey, where's all my deals? And so you need to create a deal and make sure it's linked to a contact person and an organization. Okay, with that out of the way, let me give you some tips on where to start in terms of customizing your Pipedrive account. The first thing I would do when setting up your Pipedrive account is customize your pipeline and these stages. Now, as I mentioned before, you can have multiple sales pipelines, which you really only need to do if you have different sales, revenue streams, or quite different sales processes. So here's a pretty normal sales pipeline where I've got qualified leads coming in here from my lead inbox. I book a meeting, I define the client's needs, send a proposal, and then send a contract. If I go to my mortgage pipeline, you can see the stages are quite different. We've still got qualified lead, but then interview complete, we have to get documents, submit applications to lenders. The stages here, or the milestones that we need to accomplish, are quite different. One of the mistakes we see people making is creating too many pipelines, pipelines for different salespeople or different regions. But you can filter your pipeline. Up here, we can view only the deals linked with certain salespeople, so I can see which deals each person on my team is managing. And I can also use filters to look at deals in specific regions or different types of deals. To customize your pipeline, you can click the edit button up here. And from here, we can rename and change how we want to name these stages. I can also drag and drop to reorder them, and I can click here to add new stages if I need to. And when defining your stages, I recommend thinking about what are the major milestones or things we need to do to progress a sales opportunity, and get it closer to a confirmed sale. So in this case, we need to book a meeting first. And you can see I've actually phrased my deals or my stages in the past tense. So it's very clear, deals in this stage, we've got a meeting booked, but we haven't completed it yet. Needs defined is we've now completed the meeting and we've defined what it is they need help with. Proposal sent clearly defines that everyone in this stage has received a proposal and now they're making a decision. And then people in the final stage, they've received the contract and now they need to sign. So this makes it very clear. When I look at my deals here, I know exactly where each person is at, and I know that these people are making their decision now. When customizing my pipeline, I can also enable this rotting feature. So you can see here, I haven't done it for all my stages, but for my proposal sent stage, I've said deals should start to rot in 14 days. So this basically means if a deal is inactive, in other words, I haven't touched the deal, I haven't updated it, I haven't logged an activity, I haven't followed up with an email, I haven't changed the deal in any way within this 14-day window, then the deal turns pink and it has this little red warning here. So this tells me that this deal has been rotting for 49 days. So if you look at your sales pipeline and you see lots of pink deals, that's obviously an indication that deals are not being followed up in a timely manner. If I then do something to this deal, let's click on the little activity icon here. Let's say I decide to follow up today, so I'll reschedule this activity. Let's say I'm going to schedule this to today instead. You can see now the deal turns white. It's no longer rotting because I've now updated the deal. You can also see at the top of your pipeline the total value here of all the deals in this pipeline. So this is basically the sum of these values here. So I can see what is the value or potential revenue we can get from all of these different deals. And I'm also given a weighted value. So because I'm unlikely to win every single one of these deals, my conversion rate is not 100%, Pipedrive is helping me to estimate what is the likely revenue I'm likely to get from these deals. And the way this weighted value is calculated is if I edit my pipeline stages here, you can see there are these probabilities. So starting from the left, a qualified lead has about a 40% chance of being won at that stage. But as I progress, as I have a meeting, define their needs, send a proposal, and send a contract, you can see the probability is increasing, up to the point where if they've got a contract, the deal is about 95% of the time going to convert. And so those probabilities get multiplied by the deal values to give me this weighted value. And that just helps me understand what is the potential or more likely revenue that I'm going to get from these deals. So there are a few different ways I can view my deals. This is the normal pipeline view, which we're on up here. This is probably what you'll use most of the time. But there is also this list view. If I want to sort of see my deals in more of like a spreadsheet table format, I can customize these columns and choose to display things like the value of the deal type, any of my custom fields I can show in here. This is useful either if you plan to export your data, you can export this view and all the columns down into Excel if you need to use that data in any way. Or from this view, I can bulk update. I can either select all my deals or I can select specific deals, and then I can make bulk changes on the right-hand side if I want to change deals to a certain stage or change the owner of those deals. And finally, we have a forecast view. This is only available to users on the professional plan. And what this helps me do is understand what is the likely revenue I'm likely to generate this month based on the expected close date of my deals. So if we take a look at this Bruce Wayne deal here, on the left, here is the expected close date. This is generally something you put on the deal when you're kind of further along in your sales process. Maybe Bruce has said, look, we're really interested in buying your service. We're going to be signing up. I would put an expected close date to represent when I expect to win this deal by. And so with that date, I can then see the total value of deals I expect to win this month or coming up in the following months. Now, once you have your pipeline ready and you've defined your sales stages, I would recommend creating a deal so that you can start playing with Pipedrive and getting familiar with the system. To create a deal, you can simply click the Quick Add button up here, and you can click Deal, or you can just use the shortcut D, and it's going to pop up this input menu. Now, when you create the deal, it's going to ask you to link the deal to a contact person and an organization. Now, if you type the name of a contact that already exists, give Pipedrive a second, you can see I can then click here, Tim Cook, and it's going to link this deal to the Tim Cook contact and the Apple organization. That way I'm linking this deal to my existing contact in the system. Or I can type the name of a new contact, Elon Musk, and you can see here it couldn't find an Elon Musk, so it's going to say add as a new contact, and you see the little new indicator there. And we need to put in a company for Elon. Which company should we use? Let's use SpaceX. Again, it's going to try and search for an organization. It can't find one, so we're going to create the organization as well. I can, if I want, I can input some details for Elon on the right-hand side, elon@spacex.com. And I can fill in some information if I know the value of the deal. I probably don't at this early stage. If I know the expected close date, and some of my other custom fields which we'll be setting up are available here as well. But for now, let's just go ahead and create this new deal. And so what I did there was I actually created three things. I created the deal, which is this page that we're on now. I created the Elon Musk contact person, and I created the SpaceX organization, and everything is all linked. So that's the best way to input a deal to make sure everything is linked properly. You can see here on the SpaceX organization, Elon is linked here as a person, and we've got the deal here as well. Now I just want to pause there for a second. I'm going to come back and I'm going to talk about how to use the deals page in a sec. But now I just want to revisit leads quickly and explain how leads fit in alongside deals in your sales process. So let's head on over to the lead inbox. Now, as I mentioned earlier, this lead inbox is useful really for prospecting or if you're doing any kind of cold outreach. So maybe you've got a list of people in your target industry or demographic. You can upload a spreadsheet if you go to the import menu here, and you can import that list of leads to this lead inbox. You can click on a lead, and this is a bit like a mini deal. All my deal custom fields, and I can link it to a contact, I can link it to an organization, just like I can with a deal. I can put notes on here, I can log activities, and I can send emails from the lead. Now, the use case for a lead is I would create leads or upload that prospect list for contacts who I have no relationship with. We're reaching out to them for the first time, and they're unqualified. We don't really know yet if they're going to be a good fit for the product or service that we're selling. And so you start them off as leads. You can, put your notes, log your activities, send your emails, all from here. And then when you make contact with them, when you qualify that, yep, Tim Cook is a good lead, you can then convert this into a deal. So you click that convert button, and that's going to move the lead out of this lead inbox, and it's going to put it on this deal pipeline. That's why my first stage here is qualified lead. The other situation where I would use the lead inbox is if I'm using Pipedrive's Lead Booster add-on. I have these features that I can use. I can put a live chat or a chatbot interface on my website for customers to interact with my sales team. I can also create web forms if I want to put an inquiry form on my website. And there is this prospecting tool where I can put in my target demographics, and Pipedrive can suggest leads that I should reach out to. So if you're using those features, if you've got inquiry forms on your website, that can feed into this lead inbox. You can then qualify the inquiry before you convert it to a deal. Now, not everyone uses the lead inbox. It really depends on your sales process. For example, in my business, most people come to me pretty qualified and warm already. Most people see my videos, they go to my website, there's a bit of a qualification process on the site before you can then book a call. And so when you do book, I use Zapier actually to add my Calendly bookings as deals in my pipeline. So I don't really have much need for that lead inbox. I'm not doing any kind of cold outreach or prospecting. So don't feel like you have to use that feature. But deals, generally, everyone is going to create a deal for the sales opportunities that you are trying to close. Right, to pick up where I left off, I've created this deal for Elon Musk, and it's linked with Elon and the SpaceX organization. Now, in this summary tab, I can put some important information about the deal. Up here, I can put in the value of the deal that represents what is the deal worth from a revenue standpoint. So I can either say this is a $10,000 deal, and so by attaching that value, that is going to update the value of my pipeline up here. If I want to be more specific, I can add products to my deal. So the products we can set up in the products tab over here. And when you have products or services set up, I can add a product. I can then start typing. So let's say I'm helping Elon with Asana, which is another service that we provide support on. Maybe this is going to be a $5,000 job. You can set up various variations of products if you have different sort of packages that you offer. That can all be customized in the products menu. I can also attach multiple products to a deal. If I need to quote for multiple services or products that we offer, maybe we're doing some Asana, and maybe I'm also helping with the SpaceX brand. Maybe that's going to be maybe let's say $7,500 job. I can change quantities, I can apply discounts, I can put taxes in here, I can put notes on my product, I can change my currency, whether this is tax inclusive or not, and then when I'm happy with how my products are set up, I can save that, and that is going to update the value of my deal. I always recommend trying to use products if it's relevant, because not only does it more accurately break down the value of the deal, but from a reporting standpoint, I can generate a report a bit like this that shows the value of the deals that I've won segmented by product or service, so I can understand what products or services are driving value and revenue for the business. It's also really useful, especially if I plan to use Pipedrive for quoting or invoicing. I'm not going to go into this in this video today, but using Pipedrive's Smart Docs feature, which I do have a video which I'll link up here, I can create document templates for quotes, or I can use invoicing integrations, and those products will become the line items on those quotes or invoices, and that allows me to just do more of that kind of mundane admin paperwork right inside Pipedrive, and I'm not having to copy and paste information from one tool to another. In the summary field, you can also add labels to a deal. I like using this for a way of saying if the deal is hot, warm, or cold, basically whether it's likely to convert or not. Some people use this differently and use labels to denote the type of deal. Here we can update the expected close date that I've shown you before. And if I scroll down to this details section, this is where we can create custom fields or data fields to capture additional information specific to my sales process. Now, when setting up custom fields in Pipedrive, it's important to add fields to the correct object. So in this details panel, this is generally information specific to this particular deal or sales opportunity or transaction, essentially. So if Elon has approached me, I can write a bit of a summary here about, needs help with SpaceX website and brand. I can write a bit of a summary. And so if I then do another deal with Elon in the future, maybe I'm helping him with Tesla, it's going to have a brand new summary. It's going to be a different deal type. So this information is specific to the deal or this particular sales opportunity. Scrolling down, we have custom fields related to the contact itself. So this is where I can put in Elon's contact information, his name, phone number, title, and so on. I can put in extra fields for things like his birthday, spouse, that type of thing. And if I create a new deal in the future, these details will change for that new deal, but this information is all still the same. He still has the same contact details. And then finally, you've got custom fields on the organization that you can create. And so this could be useful for things like what type of business is it? Is there a parent company? What industry do they operate in? Number of employees, website, that type of information. So just keep that in mind when setting up your custom fields, is make sure you're putting the field on the correct object. You can either add new fields in here by going to Customize Fields, or the other place where you can do this is in your company settings. If we go to Data Fields, here I can see all the fields related to leads and deals. Leads and deals share custom fields because you start a lead as a lead and you convert it into a deal, so they share those custom fields. I can put custom fields, like I said, on the person, the organization, and I can even customize fields on products and even projects that we create as well. So I'm going to create a new field in here. Let's go Customize Fields and add a custom field. You can start by giving your field a name. For example, maybe I want to use a custom field to show the main point of contact for this project. So I'm going to say point of contact. Now for field type, there are different types of fields we can create. So you've got normal text or large text fields. You can create drop-down menus, either as single option or multi-option if you want to be able to select more than one choice. There's autocomplete, numerical, monetary. User is quite useful if you want to link other users in Pipedrive. For example, I have this sales development rep field if I want to link who was the SDR that helped with this deal. I can also link extra organizations. I can put in dates, addresses, that type of thing. So for this point of contact, I'm actually going to use the person field. On the right, I do have some options. I can specify if I want this to be shown always visible in that detailed summary. I can specify if I want to input this in that deal pop-up menu that we saw earlier. And also if I'm using projects, I can display it in my project view as well. If I'm on professional, I can choose which pipelines does this field apply to. So maybe it's not really relevant for mortgage or sponsorships. It's only relevant for this particular sales pipeline that I'm in right now. And if I'm on professional, I can also enforce certain quality rules. So I can say this field has to be filled in from the proposal sent stage and later. This means if my team or one of my salespeople tries to move the deal to the next stage and this field has not been filled in, they're going to be asked to fill in this field. They're not going to be able to progress the deal until that is filled in. So let's go ahead and save that now and click Done. So now I can fill in this field, and because it's a contact field, I can type in the name of a contact. Pipedrive is either going to search the database for a contact, or in this case, I can create a new contact, and now I can go and update that contact, which is linked to the deal. Some of the other fields that I've got here, so you can see here's an example of a drop-down menu, a single option drop-down. I can input the sales development rep, so here are my Pipedrive users. I can specify which SDR helped me with this deal. I can put in date fields. I can specify times for things like booking times or appointment times. I can use numerical fields for things like the client's budget or possibly even tracking commissions. And a field that I recommend everyone should have, this is super useful, everyone needs this, is deal source. So where did the deal come from? Maybe this was a referral. That's going to be really useful later on. I can do a report where I can see for the deals that I've won, how many were from referrals versus Facebook or LinkedIn, and I can really drill down into what marketing is working well. Or I can say if a contact referred this person. So those are my deal details. Really nice sort of snapshot there of the key information about the deal. And again, at this stage, I would also recommend customizing some of those contact and organization fields as well. So at this point, we've now set up your pipeline stages and we've customized the fields on the deal, the person, and the organization. Now I want to share some best practices in terms of how to use Pipedrive on a daily basis. Now the big takeaway here is keep Pipedrive up to date. I recommend keeping Pipedrive open in your browser throughout the day. So if you get on a phone call or you are exchanging emails with a lead, you have Pipedrive ready and you can be updating the CRM. So you can put your notes into the deal, you can log your activities or your interactions, and you can schedule what you need to do next. The majority of the deal page is dedicated to seeing a timeline of all the history, the changes, the notes, activities, and emails related to the deal. So really think of this as somewhere you can look to see everything you might need to know about a potential deal. And a lot of people sort of believe that, yeah, we want to put everything on the deal, so if somebody on my team is away or a salesperson is ill, we can go to the deal and we've got all the information in one place. Now, up the top here, we have a few different tools available. Firstly, we can type in notes at any time. This is useful for storing notes during a meeting potentially, or a bit of a summary about what you need to do next, important information related to the deal. So I can attach that note and it goes down into my history. I can also, on the Activities tab, schedule activities for what I need to do next. And we have various activity types, so I've got email, call, demo call, voicemails, and so on. Now, you can actually customize these activities to your sales process by going to the company settings, and then on the company settings tab here, go to activities, and here is where you can set up new custom activity types for your business. Now, one main reason to set up a new or custom activity type is from a reporting standpoint. Here's an example. If I go to my insights, I've got this report here that shows any activity completed this year. You can see my timeline along the bottom, and I'm segmenting by type. So I can see how many calls, emails, referrals, proposal presentations, and things we've done. So that's a really nice sort of useful thing we can do with Pipedrive is see, what are we doing? What activities are we doing each month? How much follow-up are we doing? I can also segment this for different people on my team so I can see which salespeople are doing certain activities. So that's one of the main reasons you want to customize these activities is if there's something specific you want to report on, like how many presentations we've done or quotes we've sent, if you want to report on those kinds of things, set those up as custom activities. When I create an activity, I can just give it a simple due date. If I just want to say this is an email follow-up due on the 7th, I can just say it's due all day. Or if it's a meeting, maybe I've got this meeting at a specific time, I can put in a start and an end time, and you can see it gets scheduled on the calendar here. There are options to connect your Google or your Microsoft calendar to Pipedrive. So if I schedule this here in Pipedrive, it will actually go on to my Google or Outlook calendar. So I could give this a custom name like meeting with Elon to scope project. And I'm using the meeting activity type. If I want, I could actually invite guests to this meeting. So this is when I click save and send, it's actually going to send an invite to this person and it's going to add the meeting as an appointment on both of our calendars. I can either type in a location, or if I have a Zoom, Microsoft, or Google Meet integration set up, I can actually create a video conference link right here inside of Pipedrive. I can put some notes in here. These are for internal use. So this is just a reminder to myself of like what we're talking about in the meeting, or during the meeting I might type my notes in here to log, what it is we discussed. Whereas the description here, this is the public facing description that Elon in this case would see. And then down the bottom, you can assign the activity to somebody on the team. So this is obviously an activity for me, but I can assign activities to Lindsay or Warwick, other people on my team, if they need to do something for this deal. And because I've created this activity on the Elon Musk deal, the activity is also being linked with the Elon Musk contact person and the SpaceX organization. And so by logging that activity here, if I go to the SpaceX organization, I can see that note and my activity at the organization level as well, because everything is linked. I'm not going to cover all of these features here, but the other main thing I want to highlight in this video is the email integration. Now, I don't have my email connected for this demo account, so if I just switch over to my main account, when I click in here, I've got my Google account connected. So what I can do is I can compose an email directly here in Pipedrive, and then when I hit send, it's actually going to send the email through my Google account in this case. So I can still go to my Gmail and see that email in my sent items, but I'm just composing it and sending it from Pipedrive. Doing it from Pipedrive is really nice because it just keeps a history of the email on the deal, so I can go back and look at those conversations. But it's also really quick and convenient, so I can have pre-built templates ready to go. I can pick one of my templates, which populates the email. The person's name fills in with these fields, and I can choose if I want to track opens and clicks for the email as well, and then I can hit send. Then if the recipient, Warwick in this case, replies, I'm going to see that reply both here inside the deal and in my mailbox over here as well. Now, this email sync feature does require you to be on at least the advanced subscription of Pipedrive or greater. I usually recommend people get at least advanced, unless you're on a tight budget, in which case get essential. But I recommend at least advanced purely for this feature, actually, because it's really convenient being able to send and receive your emails natively in Pipedrive. And if you want to learn more about using this email feature, including how to automatically trigger emails when you move the deal to various stages, then check out this video that I've linked up here with more details about email sync. Now, one of the most important things you'll do with your CRM is manage your follow-up. Now, the best practice with follow-up is make sure that every single one of your deals always has an activity scheduled so you know what you need to do next. Even if that's just following up on a quote. You know, maybe the ball is in the other person's court now, you've sent that quote, you've sent that proposal, but being a good proactive salesperson, you should have an activity scheduled on your deals to follow up at an appropriate time, give them a call, send them an email that says, hey, you know, have you made a decision? Is there anything else we can do? So that's the first key best practice, is make sure you always have an activity scheduled on the deal. Then on a daily basis, you can work from your activities list to see which follow-ups you need to do that day. I can see all my activities on the activities tab here. And there are a few different view options and controls on this page. Firstly, in the top left, I can filter and look at only certain types of activities if I want. So if I want to only look at, you know, emails and, you know, these certain activities, I can turn on these filters. To be honest, I don't really ever use that personally, but the option is there. On the right-hand side, I can change the view. So at the moment, I'm looking at all my activities, but I can view the activities for other members of my team if I want to see what other people are doing. And then here we can change the time frame. So I can look at everything due this week or anything that's potentially overdue as well. Now this little number here, number 8, this represents the sum of the activities you have due today and activities that are overdue. So you can see up here, I have 8 activities due today, which is why this is showing 8. If I had, let's say, 2 that were overdue as well, this would actually show a 10. So your goal each day is get that number to 0. To do that, I recommend working from this screen. I quite like enabling this split view feature, so I can then pick a deal. The deal slides into view, but I can still see my activities in the background. I can then look at the deal, make any changes, update the stage, change my notes. I will then mark the activity as done to say that I've done it. I've actually got 2 here in this case. And then when you complete all the activities on the deal, you're going to notice this pop-up up here. Pipedrive is basically prompting you and saying, now that you've completed all the activities, you should schedule the next follow-up. So rather than ignoring this, which is what most people do, I would then say, right, I'm going to follow up in 7 days' time, and I'll put a little reminder to myself, follow up, on quote. So just a little reminder of what I'm following up about. So now I have this scheduled in a week's time, and so in 1 week, I will see that on my activities list. And so I would continue like that throughout the day. I want to get all these activities complete and then schedule new ones as I go. If I don't have time for everything, maybe I just have a busy day and I don't quite get to everything, I would recommend selecting anything that you didn't have time for and then changing the due date to tomorrow. So bump them to tomorrow rather than letting them go overdue, which ends up getting really messy. Reschedule them to tomorrow or the next day. That way, you never have anything overdue, and you're always keeping on top of those activities. On your deal page, you can get a bit of a sense of whether you're keeping up or not by looking at these little icons. So this green icon here shows me that I have an activity due today. The gray icon tells me that I have an activity scheduled in the future, but not today. The red one tells me that this deal has an overdue activity on it, so this one was due earlier today. And this yellow warning tells me that I have nothing scheduled on this deal. So when you look at your deals screen here, you want to see no red or yellow, like these ones. That's bad because you're falling behind, or in this case of Johnny Ive, I don't have anything reminding me about what to do next. So this deal may well get forgotten about. As my pipeline fills up, I'm probably going to forget about that. So try and keep those activities up to date. You don't want any red or yellow on this screen. You only want to see the green and gray indicators here. Now, as you progress your deals through these various sales stages, throughout the process, you may need to lose the deal. So at the top here, I can mark the deal as lost. That's basically my way of closing the deal and saying, we didn't win it and it's now dead. There's nothing more we can do. And up here, I can specify a lost reason. Now, these are all customizable. If I go to my company settings here, I can define my own custom lost reasons. So the most common ones are maybe the client doesn't respond, it was a pricing issue, they went with another option, a competitor, or it was just a case of bad timing, or maybe they didn't give a reason. My tip for this page is do not allow for free-form entry of lost reasons. I think Pipedrive should remove this feature, quite frankly. What that would mean is that people can then type in anything they want, which makes the reporting a lot messier. Instead, I think it's better to have people choose one of the options from this list. And so now I can say, right, price was too high, Elon's budget is only $5,000, so I can put a bit of an explanation in here as well, and I can lose the deal. So it turns red, you can see my comment has been added, and the lost time has been recorded down here. I can change that if I need to. Usually you don't, but if you need to change that for reporting purposes, you can. And now that deal has vanished from my pipeline. It's still in the system. I can search here for Elon Musk, and I can see there's the lost Elon Musk deal. So it still exists in Pipedrive, but by default, the pipeline only shows you deals that are still open. Unless I use a filter, I can look at all my lost deals if I need to. If Elon ever comes back to me one day and says he's raised a bit of money and he has the budget now, I can come up here and I can reopen the deal. And of course, ultimately, the goal is to win the deal. So I can click the one button up here. I've now marked the deal as won. I get a little celebration like this. The one time is recorded here, again, for reporting purposes. So in my insights, I can see how many deals were won each month. And marking deals as won or lost at the appropriate time is really important, because then it's going to update my report so I can see, for example, here how many deals I won each month. I can also report on things like my conversion rate, so I can see how many deals typically get to each stage of the process. If there's a big drop-off occurring at a certain stage, I'll be able to see that here. So I hope you have found this video useful. I was going to go on and talk next about automation, but I'm already over 40 minutes on this video now, so I think it's better that I end it there. If you'd like to learn more about the features that I've covered in this video and some of the other features that I didn't, like automation and reporting, check out the other videos on my YouTube channel, which I'll link up here. And if you'd like help with setting up and learning how to take full advantage of Pipedrive, please click the link in the description to learn more about our Pipedrive consulting options. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video.